G'day, my name's Chris. Welcome back to the shed. Welcome back to Flat Tank Friday. This is part 2 of my TS350 Douglas. Yeah, as I said last week, it's about 1924 and it came to me a few months ago, I suppose. It was a part finished project that I bought off a friend of a friend, a wheel builder. And last week I showed you what I call the right hand side of the bike as you're sitting on it. And this week I thought I'd bring you back and show the left hand side. I thought it gets a bit long and people seem to get bored and then I watch the whole episode. So this week we're going to have a look at the left hand side of the bike and you can get a good rundown of what's there and what's not. And then I'm going to run you through the parts that came with the bike. There's a lot of parts with it, got them all laid out on the bench, and I'll walk along and talk about what's there. As I said to you last week, the only thing that's really missing is the original Douglas levers, and I'd love a set if somebody can hunt those out for me. The things that I haven't got in the video this week are the barrels, the 2 barrels for the bike and the 3 barrels that are kind of junk, but I'm going to keep them in stock just in case. I think there's 2 at the front and 1 at the rear. Let's hop straight into the video and have a look at the left hand side of the bike and I'll run down the parts and we'll come back after that. I hope you enjoy. Cheers. Alright, bringing you back into the bike. The headlight's really lovely. Looks as though it's been fully restored. Again, you can get a good look at the front guard. Just cut to length guards. All re-nickel plated. Very nicely done. Bars, headlamp, tank, gear change, which has really been beautifully restored. Really, Graham's gone to a lot of trouble, and Graham's the guy's name who sold it to me. I'm very appreciative of it. Again, the tank refinished. Done well, hand striped, very, very nice. In onto the magneto, again, allegedly rebuilt. Flywheel. Now, the gear change is something I'm working on as well, and I'll make some videos about that over the coming weeks. That little actuating arm isn't genuine. Does work, does change. It's just slightly agricultural. Now the chain and the sprocket. Sprocket's been re-nickeled, so it's the bolts, the nut that goes on it. It's not in bad nick and the chain looks as though it's new. The gearbox hardware, rebuilt. Gearbox, again, allegedly rebuilt. Everything's good. Just coming away from the bike again. Back to look at the rear carrier. Again, a reproduction that Graham built himself that he copied from an original one. Rear wheel, like the front, been relaced, new spokes, new tyres, new tubes, the whole kit and caboodle. Done a beautiful job. Coming in on the rear hub. Rear hub's got new grease nipple in it, been re-nickeled. He really didn't spare any expense as he went forward with it. Well, there's the Douglas as it arrived to me. I really haven't done anything to it, bar give it a wipe over and have a solid look at it, and I've had a look at it now. I looked at it for 3 or 4 weeks when I got it and then covered it up, and now it's just come out again to show you and to try and get the barrels on. I'll bring in and you can have a look at all the spare parts that arrive with the bike, bar the 2 barrels that are getting tidied up. So let's have a look at the spares. So the bike came with a tub, a big plastic tub down the end there of parts. Now, as I think about it, there are 5 barrels that came with it. 2 I've used. 1 is perfect, with a piston that matches it and rings and is ready to go. It's had new valves put in it and it's great. And you can watch the video I posted earlier in the week about that. The other was rebored and it's ready to go too. And the other three, they're pretty tired, broken fins and not in great nick, but they're in storage, so that's fine. So let's have a look at the spares that come with it. Now, some of the parts need to be put together with the bike. There's oilers, a pinion gear, the spark plugs, the base gaskets are back in here, and a few bits and pieces. Again, everything got re-nickeled. Everything's in good condition. I got new valve guides with the bike and a remover and an inserter. A series of levers that are not correct but might get put to use at some point. Pistons arrived with the bike. The three at the front there are three I'm not using. Selected the best two pistons, one to match the barrel and one to be bored out. Someone's had some pistons cast at some point and not finished, so they arrived with it. A small collection of piston rings. The exhaust, it's been restored or refurbished or reproduced. Not really sure which one of those. It appears to bolt straight up, and the exhaust pipe is the piece that's missing, and that won't be hard to fabricate. There's what I think might be the original caps off the Douglas. They're fairly ordinary condition, but I don't see any reason to lose sleep over the ones that are on it. The inlet manifold's there behind with the carburettor that's been restored, and the manifold could stand nickel plating, but the carby is in very good condition. It's been re-nickeled and refurbished. It's good. Came with cables ready to go in the bag. A stirrup front brake, but it isn't the correct stirrup front brake. I'm not actually sure what it's off, so if anybody has any wisdom about that, share it with me. Love to know. Couple of sets of engine cases. One that's extremely clean and one that's not so clean. I don't know enough about them to know whether they're in good condition or not. So they're all left-hand sides, I'd call them, and then there's three right-hand sides. Again, they look pretty clean and tidy, but whether or not they're any good, that's hard to say. The chest cover, that's dated 1925, it appears to be in good condition, and I'll just tuck that away until I can really sort out the year of the bike. Levers, bearings, bits, pieces, valves, push rods, cam followers, a whole range of bits and bobs in ice cream containers that are leftovers and superfluous to my needs at this point. I'm not looking to get rid of any of it because I just don't know when I'll need it. Couple of cranks just lurking in the back there. Don't know their condition. They certainly look very worn and very used, so I suspect they were the least usable of the ones that he had. And then there's just some casual bits and pieces laying in the tub, though I didn't bother getting out. Graham sent me a history of the bike as he knew it, and I've read through that, and that's been really enjoyable. Well, that's Flat Tank Friday for another week, and that's part 2 of seeing my 350 Douglas. I'm still pretty enamoured with the Douglas. It's a fine looking piece of kit. I'm really appreciative to have it in the shed, and I hope everybody enjoys seeing what happens to it over a series of weeks and months probably before it goes. I've got lots to do. The first job will be to get the pack rack off and to get the guard off and try and cut the guard without making a big mess of the powder coating, because I've got to cut the guard to make way for the belt. Somebody's had the guard powder coated and not thought about the belt until it was too late. I'm sort of thinking we'll probably find lots of those little issues as we move along with it. I'm hoping the barrels and the piston rings are back soon, and we get the barrels back on, get the engine timed, and move on from there. As with all YouTube creators, if you like what you see, hit the like button. If you really like what you see, hit the subscribe button. If you want to, send us a message. It's always good to have interaction from people. Have a great weekend. See you again next week. Cheers.